DA mayoral candidate for Johannesburg, Dr. Mpho Phalatse, says the city of gold is broken, but with the right vision and plan, it can be fixed again. She officially launched her campaign in Johannesburg yesterday, stating that under her leadership, the city would be dedicated to service delivery and she would not compromise her party's principles. She has previously served as a member of the mayoral committee for health and social development in the metro. Dr. Mpho Phalatse joins us now. Dr. Phalatse, very good morning to you. Congratulations. We now know that you are the face leading this campaign to win Joburg for the DA. You say that the city is broken, but it can be fixed. How so?
Hi, good morning to you and to your viewers. Definitely the city is broken. I've spent the last 20 days going up and down the city from the north to the south to the east to the west, speaking to residents, and all they're complaining about is that they're no longer receiving even the most basic of services. There's water outages, there is electricity outages in some parts of the city, even up to 6 months. There is potholes, there is just a breakdown of infrastructure, a breakdown of service delivery. It's as if the government in power now has forgotten what their mandate is and what their contract is with the residents. The city, unfortunately, now needs to be rebuilt, where we're supposed to be looking at innovation for future development. We now have to go back and rebuild the ruins. And that means, yes, you start internally, you start with what you have. Do you have the right institutional framework? Do you have the right staff complements to do what needs to be done? Are their attitudes right? Is their behavior right? Is there corruption in the system that's stealing away the revenue that you need to use to invest in the lives of residents? So you start by looking internally, are your systems supportive? Are your processes supportive for what you want to carry out? And that's what we will do. So I spoke a lot about our governance framework and what we will introduce to strengthen governance to ensure that we're able to do what we need to do. And then, of course, we need to look at optimizing revenue, we need to look at protecting revenue, and then we need to make sure that everyone is on board and we do what needs to happen. We will focus on basic service delivery first and foremost, and then we will use smart technologies to ensure that we limit and reduce human interference and that we give our residents and our customers the best service.
The city of Johannesburg was taken by the ANC. It's given the DA essentially some time to rethink, re-strategize and regroup. What are the tangible differences that you're looking to make over and above what's required at local government level?
Well, the first thing we need to do is restore to people what is rightfully theirs. So we've got rate-paying residents, for instance, who are not getting value for money. So I believe that that's the first tangible thing. You know, when somebody is paying up to 10,000 or even more a month for services and they're not getting them, that is an injustice. And we're going to start by changing that. Again, as I said, we're going to look internally, institutionally, what is it that's hampering or hindering our progress in what we're trying to achieve? There's a lot of corruption in the system still. We need to root that out. Two, there's a lot of cater deployment still present in the system. The ANC has brought in people even in the last 2 years who are not always capable of doing what they're meant to be doing. We need to make sure that we assess the skills of the people who are supposed to carry out services and that we take out whoever does not belong in the system. And then we will make sure that we render the services. Basic services is what it's about first and foremost. As I said, we will be using smart technologies. A lot of businesses that's supposed to partner with the city complain that it's difficult to do business with the city. We realize that we cannot run the city on our own. We don't have enough resources to do it. We're going to rely a lot on partnerships, but how do we then incentivize business to work with us? The first thing business asked us is that we need to get the city working again. So again, they're also asking for basic services. They need to know that they will have power to operate, they will have water to operate and all the basics that they need. But they also need to know that the city's processes are business friendly, and that's why we spoke about going online for a lot of our applications and a lot of our internal processes to attract business to do business with the city. That way we will be able to do more, we'll be able to do it quicker, and our residents will feel the impact a lot sooner.
You speak about partnerships. We've heard DA's John Steenhuisen saying that when it comes to coalitions, it's not a consideration in this regard. You've also spoken about not pandering with the Red Berets. What is your game plan then, should you find yourself in a situation where you need a coalition?
So yes, you know, you don't enter a race not to win. So first prize for us is to get an outright majority. And you'll agree that the last 5 years has been very unstable in the city of Joburg. We've had 3 administrations. We've had 3 executive mayors in a 5-year period. This instability is reflecting on our roads. It's reflecting on how services are being delivered and the breakdown that we are seeing. So yes, ideally we want an outright majority, but should we not get that, what we've said is that we will consider coalition only with parties who agree with our value system. There has to be alignment. We have to be about the people. We have to be about service delivery. We have to carry the mark of service excellence, good governance, which the DA is known for. We will not compromise. And we have to value people equally. We cannot put other people above others, because that's what we see with some of the parties, and that's been a problem in the past, where people have specific constituencies that they've decided they want to serve and they neglect other residents. That's not going to be our developmental approach. We want to treat everyone as equal. We believe in fairness. And so if there's a party that believes in that, then yes, we will consider a coalition with that party, but there would need to be very strict parameters. There would need to be very strict definition of the rules of engagement and how we're going to run the city in the next 5 years.
Which of these parties are aligned with your values and principles?
Well, it's too early to say now. I think, you know, parties are still coming out now, even with their manifestos. We need to allow that process to unfold. We need to study policies. We need to study what they're offering, what their plan is for the city. We will know once that process has unfolded who it is that we feel we're best aligned with, and we will know who we need to work with.
We couldn't be possibly speaking about the new kids on the block, because there is history that shows to the manifestos and what they speak to, and perhaps ones that would really resonate with the DA. Are there no sort of clues as to where you'd be looking in that space should your plan A not come to fruition?
Well, like I said, it's still early days. So we will consider everybody. We will not exclude anyone, but we will consider everyone based on what they're offering, based on their position, their policy position, their value proposition to the residents of Johannesburg, and their values and principles. Right now, I cannot answer that question. It's still early. Let's wait for the process to unfold. Let's wait for parties to define more clearly what it is that they want to do in Johannesburg in the next 5 years. And then we can have that conversation.
You say that the city is broken, but some of the biggest cracks in the city have been speaking to electricity shortages, and water shortages. And, you know, there are areas that have gone without either electricity or water for months on end, even years. What is your plan in that area? Because it is one that is really serious, especially with the latest information we're hearing with the city power, the maladministration issues there, which really speak to a much broader and bigger picture when it comes to tackling issues of electricity or water shortages.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I was in Soweto this past week, and there's areas, like I said, who've been without electricity for even up to 6 months. It's prevalent, you know, throughout the city. Our plan is Joburg Water, City Power are city entities. They are municipal-owned entities. These entities are meant to be serving residents. They are owned by the city, so we can exert the level of control that's needed to ensure that they do what they're supposed to be doing. Currently, there's very loose contractual agreements between the city and the entities, which allow room for non-performance, for corruption and maladministration. So what we're planning to do is to start by strengthening our contracts, with our municipal-owned entities to ensure that if there is non-performance, then there can be consequence management. We maintain service levels, we maintain service standards, and residents are served as they should. That's going to be the first thing we're going to do. Then we're going to explore Eskom supplied areas that have outages for long periods of time, and we're going to explore city power taking over those areas. But what we're planning to do is where we take over Eskom areas in one part of the city, we need to take over in another part of the city. There's still a culture of non-payment in areas such as Soweto, for instance. So we need to consider what shock that will bring to our revenue streams if we take on huge areas where there is a culture of non-payment, which we still need to address. Taking those areas together with areas with a culture of payment will even out the revenue gaps and make sure that we don't introduce too much of a shock to the system while we're dealing with people who are poor, can't afford, making sure they're registered on the city's ESP, which is the expanded social package, so they can access rebates, subsidies on their water, electricity, property rates, and taxes and so on. But those who can afford to pay, starting to work on behavior change, culture change, introducing them to why they need to pay, why it's important for the city to collect revenue and how that revenue benefits them and improves their lives. So that's the kind of plan we're looking at in terms of power. In terms of water, we just need to do the basics. I mean, I was in Orange Farm, I think 2 weeks ago, looking at a reservoir, which we made a budget available for in 2019 already, and it's still not finished because of maladministration on the inside, incompetence on the inside. So getting the basics right, again, with strengthening contractual agreements, will make sure that such things, such projects are fast-tracked and that they're delivered on target, on time, within budget, and that residents don't have to go through outages. Of course, with the water issue now, there's also the Rand Water infrastructure maintenance that's currently underway. But
Dr. Phalatse, if you'll allow me to interrupt you there for the sake of time. You're a woman, you already coming in with that superpower. Do you think it will make a difference at all to be running the city as a female?
I definitely think so. I do think there's qualities that women possess. I believe that we are nurturing in nature. I believe that we are caring in nature. And I believe that that should be the approach to the city as well. When you genuinely care about the lives of residents as a woman, you cannot allow incompetence. You cannot allow corruption. You cannot allow maladministration. You are an emotional being as a woman. I get moved and I get emotional when I see how people are living. And that emotion needs to be channeled into creative solutions that will improve the lives of our residents.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time.